Assalamu alaikum and a good morning. I give a long introduction of myself because we moved to the another building 5 years ago, and so nobody or very few people remember me or knows me, so I have to give all the detail about me. Now, the title here has one word, sensitizers. It has a different meaning, but in terms of allergy and asthma, it means they are antigens, and the antigens activate people who are genetically predisposed or those who have asthma or allergy genes, and we call them susceptible. So they produce an specific Ig antibodies that remains with you throughout your life and are called triggers. So if you have genes and you are not exposed to an antigen or a sensitizer, you will not have any symptoms of allergy throughout your life. Now let us have some sensitizers that we have been working at this institution. These are tiny elephants. You cannot see them through their naked eyes, but they live with you, they sleep with you, they leave their abdominal waste in your bed, mattresses, carpets, curtains, and all around. Now, these abdominal waste differ. In this case, dermatophagitis, you have here about 20 to 30 micron in diameter maximum, which is here can be seen. And these are feeding on the human scale. These have also their abdominal waste leaving behind. In terms of cats, they have their salivary protein, which are dried and moved because of the aerodynamic properties. Now, they all have aerodynamic properties, thereby become airborne by human activities. So if you are making a bed, dusting or covering yourself with a blanket or moving pillows, they are airborne and you inhale them through inhalation, through the nose and mouth. But there are various other ways of exposure. Now, as we breathe 1 cubic meter of air per day, and if the number of these either in dustborne or airborne particles exceed the threshold levels, then those people who have genetically predisposed factors, which is the higher level of Ig, I'll come back, then you are likely to have first sensitization, production of specific antibodies, and the subsequent or second exposure you will have the symptom. Here you see, we call it a natural vacuum cleaner, and all the time you are vacuuming those dust from there. And this allergen here is a pollen, can be anything that I'm going to show some of these one, and then upper respiratory airways, which are mentioned here with the site mentioned, and the lower respiratory, here you can see the asthmatic patient, inflammation and bronchoconstriction, tightness in the chest, and the normal bronchioles are here. Now, the World Allergy Organization, they have come up with a summary of various symptoms of the allergic disease, and most of these are well known to you, and no need to go over it. During the last several years that we have been involved in collaboration with the university and other national institutions in the kingdom, we have done the bronchial asthma survey in patient, and I would like to show this slide all the time because this is the last information we have. After that, we do not know the increase or decrease, and I hope somebody should come up and take it to do the prevalence again in the pediatric patients. So you see here up to 25% patient in asthma with doctors diagnosed, physician diagnosed, and highly suspected. And allergic rhinitis even much higher. And you see these in 3 times that we did 86, 95, and 2001. You see the increasing pattern. We have published this paper in the American Journal of Asthma and Allergy, and this is quoted worldwide, the increasing pattern of allergies and asthma in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Now, having those information, we estimated that 20 billion per annum is the cost of asthma treatment and direct and indirect cost, lost working hours, and so on. Dr. Mohanna published in the CATS, the Research Priorities, CATS publication in 2008, and he presented a comparison by 2030, the predicted cost of cancer and predicted cost of asthma. You see here, the cancer cost is to the 9 and here is to the 11. Why? Because in cancer, once you are diagnosed, you have very limited time to live. But in asthma, once you are diagnosed, throughout your life you suffer, and it makes your life miserable, though there are deaths associated, but it makes your life miserable, depending on medication. So, the project that we put forward to an NSDIP, and Dr. Sultan Al-Sideri being the PI, we completed this project, and with American Association for Advanced Science, they reviewed and approved this project. Now, what we wanted to do the nationwide work and to come up with a laboratory that can continue to do on a commercial basis. So here we have done to other sites as well, but this was the first time we included, even though this small number, throughout the kingdom. So we have these red dots here, all these, and we tried to have a large number of samples. Unfortunately, because of the logistic reasons and the promises and the engagement of the physician, we were unable to do so. So we made this, forget about this at the time, maybe it will come later. So using this parameter technique and this technique, we managed to do our identification and detection and so on. Now, this slide shows you, well, every region and comparison is very difficult in 15 minutes of time. So how we can summarize it, that we pool the coastal region and non-coastal region, Jeddah, Dammam, and so on. And you see here that the dermatophaga is Sternocidus and Farinae and Blumia tropicalis, DER-P1, DER-F1, and BLO-T5, because there are different antigens, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are the ones that the antibodies are available. Now, see here, red bars are from the coastal regions. So these three, they are humidity dependent. And the humidity dependence, with the higher humidity, you have a higher concentration of these two, internationally known, and to the Blumia also, because these are in the tropical area. For FeLD1, which comes from the cat salivary protein, there is no significant difference, rather, you know. And then here you have Blumia Bollatella germanica, and Ractus navigaris, you have slightly less in the coastal region. So these are one of the comparison now. Even if you are doing, if you go back here, if you're doing and see the cat allergens, many people have no cats. And they say never had cat, but the allergens are there. And this was quoted by Professor Martin Chapman. He was given the soil from the Apollo moon, and he analyzed that there were FeLD1% in the material brought from the moon. So they are moving around. So if you're doing the ELISA and see, you will be able to find immediately, before you even read, that there are